You walk into a room like a storm, not loud, not chaotic, just undeniable. And yet, there will always be someone trying to rattle you, talk behind your back, test your patience, poke at your insecurities. Why? Because they can't stand your presence. They feel your energy before you even speak. So they test you to see if they can crack you. But you act like nothing bothers you. Not because you're blind to it, not because you don't hear it, but because it doesn't deserve your energy. Every time you react, you lose. Every time you show emotion to someone beneath you, you hand them power they never earned. Real strength isn't loud. It doesn't scream. It doesn't complain. It doesn't cry on the internet looking for sympathy. Real strength walks through fire and doesn't flinch. It sees betrayal and doesn't beg. It faces failure and doesn't. You keep moving. When people see you unfazed, they start to question their own worth. Why isn't he affected? Why doesn't she care? That silence, that composure, it destroys them. Because nothing is more intimidating than someone who cannot be shaken. Let them talk, let them laugh, let them doubt. That's all they've got. You've got something better. Discipline, vision, control. You're too focused on your mission to be bothered by mosquitoes. So from this day on, act as if nothing bothers you, because it shouldn't. You've got bigger things to conquer, and the ones trying to distract you, they're already behind. Stay cold, stay sharp, stay moving. Emotional detachment is power because it puts you in control of yourself, your decisions, and the way others influence you. Most people are slaves to how they feel. They wake up happy if someone texts them. They're miserable if someone ignores them. They get excited when they hear praise and fall apart the moment they face criticism. This constant emotional roller coaster keeps them weak, reactive, and easily manipulated. If someone can trigger you with a few words, they own you. You might think you're strong, but you're just a puppet being pulled by the strings of your own emotions. When you learn to detach emotionally, you stop giving away that power. You stop being a slave to every mood swing and every outside opinion. You become steady. Imagine going through your day and nothing phases you. No insult, no bad news, no disrespect can shake your frame. That's not numbness. That's mental dominance. You're not ignoring reality, you're mastering it. You acknowledge your emotions, but you don't act on them like a child. You process them, analyze them, and decide whether they deserve your reaction. Most of the time, they don't. You don't react emotionally, you become unpredictable. People can't read you. They can't play you. They throw their worst at you. Silence. They try to insult you. Now change. They try to make you jealous. Nothing. That drives them crazy. And now the power dynamic shifts. You're no longer the one being controlled. You're the one setting the tone. You control the energy in the room because you control yourself. People start to adjust around you instead of the other way around. And detaching emotionally also helps you make sharper decisions. Emotions cloud judgment. Anger makes you impulsive. Sadness makes you passive. Fear makes you hesitate. All of these states rob you of clarity. When you're emotionally detached, you can look at a situation for what it is, not what it feels like. That's what allows winners to make moves under pressure. The average man gets overwhelmed. The disciplined man keeps thinking clearly while everyone else is panicking. That's how he comes out on top. It doesn't mean you never feel anything. It means your feelings don't sit in the driver's seat. You can feel hurt, but you still move forward. You can feel anger, but you don't explode. You can feel disappointment, but you don't quit. Your emotions become tools, not chains. And that shift is what separates people who lead from people who follow. Most of society is emotionally addicted. Addicted to approval, addicted to drama, addicted to being seen, heard, validated. And this addiction is weakness, plain and simple. It's the reason people stay stuck in toxic relationships. It's the reason they let failure break them. It's the reason they can't handle rejection. They let emotions decide their actions, and the world chews them up for it. You, on the other hand, choose detachment. You choose to keep your emotions in check so you can focus on what matters. Your vision, your goals, your evolution. You can be in the middle of chaos and still stay focused. That kind of man or woman is rare. And rare equals valuable. You don't get swayed by noise. You don't chase approval. You don't need everyone to like you. You're not cold, you're controlled. And in a world full of emotional instability, that makes you unstoppable. Control as perception means how you appear to others becomes their reality. People don't know what you feel inside unless you show them. They don't see your insecurities unless you project them. You could be breaking down internally, full of doubt, anxiety, fear. But if your exterior remains composed, focused, and unbothered, that's what the world believes. That's the power of perception. It's not about lying to others. It's about mastering yourself to the point where you decide what version of you people get to see. People are visual. They react to what they see, not what's hidden inside. If you act like you're in control, even when things aren't perfect, others will treat you with respect. They'll assume you know what you're doing. They'll believe you've got it figured out. This doesn't mean you fake everything. It means you don't hand your emotions to the outside world on a silver platter. You don't walk around like an open wound. You walk like a fortress, calm, unreadable, intentional. That level of control makes you dangerous. Not because you're a threat to others, but because you can't be manipulated easily. People who know how to push your buttons will stop trying when they realize those buttons don't work anymore. That guy trying to get under your skin with passive-aggressive comments, he loses all his power when you don't flinch. The moment you get angry, raise your voice, or defend yourself emotionally, you've already lost. You've shown your hand. But if you just stare, smile slightly, and move on like it didn't even register, now he's wondering what you're thinking. That's real power. Control is about training your mind to act with intention, not reaction. The average person is reactive. Someone says something insulting, they react. Someone disagrees with them, they feel attacked. Something goes wrong, they panic. And this is why average people stay average. They're predictable. They live in reaction mode. Their emotions are on display, and because of that, they're easy to manipulate, easy to read, and easy to break. Now imagine the opposite. Imagine someone insults you in front of a crowd and you smile like you didn't even hear it. They expect a reaction. They want one. But you don't give it to them. You just carry on. Now everyone watching thinks two things. One, you're in complete control of your emotions, and two, you're too important to care. That kind of response doesn't make you look weak. It makes you look untouchable. And untouchable is the highest form of respect. Perception shapes your opportunities, relationships, and outcomes. In a room full of competitors, the one who appears most in control commands the room. People look for leaders who don't fold under pressure. They follow the ones who remain calm when everything's falling apart. That's the person they trust. That's the person they want to be like. And the crazy part is, you don't need to have all the answers. You just need to look like you're not fazed. That illusion becomes reality. You win the game, not by being the loudest or the strongest, but by being the one who looks like nothing touches him. People will talk. Situations will test you. Emotions will try to erupt. But the ones who master the art of perception, who carry themselves like warriors even when the battle is inside, that's who the world respects. And respect is leverage. It opens doors, earns loyalty, and crushes doubt before it even starts. The perception of control is often more powerful than control itself. And once you master that, you become the kind of person who bends the world, not the one who bends under it. Reaction is weakness because the moment you respond emotionally, you hand over your power. When someone provokes you and you snap, they win. Not because they were right, but because they controlled your state of mind. They dictated your behavior. That's the definition of weakness, being at the mercy of someone else's actions. When you react, you're not leading, you're following. You're showing the world that anyone with the right words or the right attitude can throw you off balance. That makes you predictable, vulnerable, and easy to manipulate. Look at how most people live. They're constantly reacting. Someone cuts them off in traffic, they scream. Someone says something rude, they lash out. Someone gives them bad news, they panic. They are emotionally exposed at all times, walking around like open targets. And the problem is, when you react, you reveal everything. Your insecurities, your lack of control, your emotional weaknesses. People see exactly what bothers you and they'll use it against you again and again. If someone knows they can make you emotional, they own you. It's that simple. Every reaction is a distraction. Instead of focusing on your goals, your money, your self-discipline, you're focused on petty nonsense. Arguments that don't matter, opinions that mean nothing, insults from people who aren't even in your league. When you react, you get pulled down to their level. And once you're down there, you're wasting time, energy, and focus on things that don't improve your life. That's a luxury weak people indulge in. Strong people stay focused. They don't react. They observe, calculate, and move with purpose. Emotional control is rare because most people never train it. They think their emotions are some sacred truth that must be expressed in the moment. But that's just laziness disguised as authenticity. Real strength is restraint. It's looking someone dead in the eye as they try to provoke you and choosing silence. Not because you're afraid, but because you know what you're capable of, and you don't need to prove it. You already know the outcome. You already know they don't matter, and you're not about to give your energy to something beneath you. When you stop reacting, people get confused. They throw jabs, expect to fight, and get nothing. That silence hits harder than any insult ever could. It makes people uncomfortable because they can't control you. They can't read you. They start to wonder what you're thinking, what you're planning, what you're capable of. That's how you build presence. Not by yelling, not by proving a point, but by making your silence louder than their noise. People respect what they can't shake. That's the truth. Anyone can get angry. Anyone can scream, cry, or complain. That's easy. What's hard is staying unmoved when everything around you is trying to provoke you. That takes real strength. That takes discipline. And discipline is what separates the people who talk about power from the people who actually have it. If you can master your reaction, you master every situation, because no matter what they say or do, you remain in control. You think before you act. You decide what deserves your time, your words, your effort. And 99% of the noise, it doesn't. It's just noise. People don't realize how much power they waste reacting to things that don't matter. Gossip, disrespect, fake drama, it all feeds off attention. The more you react, the more you feed it. The less you react, the quicker it dies. And that's the point. You don't win by fighting every battle. You win by not showing up to ones that don't matter. Let the weak fight for attention. You fight for results. You fight in silence. And you don't react, you rise. Stoicism wins because in a world where everyone is emotionally driven, the person who remains calm holds the highest ground. The ability to stay composed when others are falling apart gives you a psychological edge. It makes you appear more intelligent, more powerful, more capable, even if you're facing the same chaos they are. The person who doesn't show panic is the one people look to for leadership. He's the one who others want to follow, trust, and emulate. When you don't let your emotions take over, you see things clearer, think faster, and act smarter. Look at any high-pressure environment, war zones, financial crises, competitive sports, street fights. The man who loses his temper usually loses the game because emotion clouds judgment. Anger makes you reckless. Fear paralyzes you. Sadness drains your energy. When you let emotions drive you, you make impulsive choices, say the wrong things, and forget the bigger picture. But when you stay stoic, cold, calm, and centered, you're able to assess the situation with clarity and respond with precision. That's how real players win. They don't play with emotion. They play with strategy. People often think showing emotion makes them more real, more human. But that mindset is why most people stay average. They confuse emotional expression with strength, when in reality it's a loss of control. There's a difference between feeling emotions and being controlled by them. You can feel everything and still show nothing. That's discipline. That's mastery. That's what separates warriors from the weak. Because when chaos hits, people don't want to follow someone who's crying, panicking, or venting. They want the one who stands firm, who keeps moving forward without hesitation. Stoicism isn't about being cold-hearted, it's about emotional discipline. It's about putting your mission above your mood. Life will constantly throw problems at you, betrayal, loss, failure, disrespect. If you fall apart every time something doesn't go your way, you'll never build anything lasting. But if you learn to control your reactions and keep moving forward regardless of how you feel, then nothing can stop you. Your enemies can't break you because they can't read you. Your environment can't shake you because you trained yourself to stay calm under pressure. The Stoic mindset also commands respect without words. When people see you unbothered by nonsense, when they watch you handle setbacks without complaining, they know you're built different. You become the standard. In a world full of emotional outbursts, loud opinions, and victimhood, being stoic is rebellion. It's rare. And anything rare is valuable. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove anything. You don't even need to respond. Your silence, your calm, and your ability to keep pushing forward speaks louder than anything else. The ones who win long-term aren't the loudest. They're the most composed. They know the value of patience, the importance of timing, and the strength in restraint. They understand that the world is full of temporary storms, but the man who remains still outlasts them all. While others waste energy reacting, venting, and panicking, the Stoic man conserves his focus. He uses it to build, to plan, to win. That's why Stoicism is not weakness, it's pure strength. It's the choice to be unmoved by the noise around you and the chaos within you. That kind of self-control turns you into a weapon the world can't bend. Because no matter what comes your way, you face it without fear, without drama, and without hesitation. That's why Stoicism wins every single time. Attention is currency because whatever you focus on, you invest in. Just like money, attention is limited. You only have so much of it in a day, and how you spend it determines the return you get. Most people don't realize how expensive their attention is. They throw it at nonsense. Gossip, negativity, distractions, drama, and then wonder why they feel drained, directionless, and emotionally unstable. The truth is, the things you pay attention to are the things that grow in your life. If you constantly focus on problems, your life becomes a series of problems. If you give energy to negative people, they become louder and more present. Your attention either builds you or breaks you. When you act unbothered, you're refusing to pay the price for things that aren't worth it. That's real wealth, emotional wealth. You don't give energy to every insult, every rumor, every petty situation, because you know it costs too much. Giving attention to the wrong things is like pouring water into a broken glass. It doesn't serve you. It doesn't improve you. It just leaks your strength. And most people are bleeding out every day without even noticing it. They give attention to people who don't respect them, content that waste their time, arguments that lead nowhere. All of it adds up, and at the end of the day, they wonder why they're tired, frustrated, and stuck. It's because they spent their mental currency on garbage. Meanwhile, the people who rise in life protect their attention like it's gold. They're selective about what they look at, listen to, and respond to, not because they're arrogant, but because they understand value. They understand that whatever they focus on will multiply. So they focus on discipline, goals, skills, and strategy. They don't argue with fools. They don't reply to haters. They don't chase validation. They use their attention to build something, not defend something. That mindset creates momentum, and momentum is power. When you ignore negativity, it starves. People who try to provoke you need your reaction to feel powerful. If you don't give it to them, they shrink. You don't have to fight every battle. You just have to deny it your attention. That silence becomes your weapon. People expect drama. They expect emotional responses. They expect you to get defensive. But when you don't, when you move forward without saying a word, you win every time because your focus stayed intact. You stayed in control. You didn't hand over your energy for free. Attention is also what programs your mindset. If you constantly scroll through garbage content, listen to people complain, or surround yourself with chaos, your mind adapts to that environment. You become what you consume. You think those thoughts, you feel those emotions, you act on that energy. But if you feed your mind with purpose, direction, and discipline, you start to reflect those values in your actions. Your attention literally sculpts your identity. That's how powerful it is. It's not just about what you notice. It's about what you become through repeated exposure. This is why being unbothered is more than just a mindset. It's a strategy. You don't ignore things because you're blind. You ignore them because you're focused. You've chosen what matters, and you've decided what deserves zero attention. That decision protects your mental state, sharpens your thinking, and keeps you moving forward while everyone else is distracted. Your ability to control your attention is what separates you from the masses. They waste it, you invest it. They scatter it, you aim it. And because of that, they stay stuck and you keep rising. Energy is influenced because the way you carry yourself affects everything around you, your opportunities, your relationships, your authority. People feel your presence before they even hear your voice. They read your posture, your eye contact, your stillness, your intensity. You don't need to announce power. Real power walks into the room and is instantly recognized. And that power doesn't come from noise. It comes from energy. Calm, controlled, unbothered energy. That's the kind that commands respect without asking for it. It doesn't seek approval. It doesn't beg for attention. It owns attention without trying. Most people walk around with chaotic energy, anxious, fidgety, overly reactive. Their emotions are loud. Their insecurities louder. They talk too much. They move too fast. They can't sit still. This energy screams weakness. It tells the world they're unsure of themselves. And people pick up on that. They might not say it out loud, but they feel it. They know when someone is desperate for validation or approval. They know when someone is triggered easily. That energy repels respect. It tells the room you're not in control. Not of the situation and not of yourself. Now flip the script. Imagine someone walks into a room with complete composure. No rush, no fidgeting, no need to impress. Their posture is strong, their face is unreadable, their gaze is focused. They don't need to dominate the conversation, they dominate the space. That kind of energy makes people curious. It makes people nervous. Because you can't tell what that person is thinking or what they're capable of. That mystery alone creates influence. You don't need to convince people to respect you. Your energy does it for you. Being unbothered is a big part of mastering that energy. When people try to provoke you and you don't flinch, your silence speaks louder than any outburst. That non-reaction becomes a message. You don't affect me. That kind of control is rare, and anything rare becomes valuable. It makes people see you differently. They watch what they say around you. They hesitate before they challenge you because they can't read you, and that unpredictability makes you powerful. The world responds to the energy you project. If you move like a victim, slouch, soft-spoken, eyes down, people treat you like one. If you move like you know exactly who you are and where you're going, people either get in line or get out of the way. Your energy tells people how to treat you before you open your mouth. It either says, I'm in control, or it says, I'm hoping you'll accept me. One of those creates respect. The other invites disrespect. Protecting your energy means controlling your reactions, your attention, and your environment. You don't engage in pointless arguments. You don't chase approval. You don't hang around people who drain you. You're intentional about what you allow in your space. That intention builds strength. It sharpens your focus. It creates a gravity around you that others can feel. They don't know why they listen when you speak, why they sit up straighter when you're around. But they do, because your energy set the tone. Not your words, not your resume, just your presence. That's why energy is influence. People follow confidence, they follow strength, they follow certainty. And those things are communicated not just through what you say, but through how you exist. Your vibe either tells the world you're ready to lead, or it tells the world you're looking to be led. You get to choose. And when you choose to be unshakable, focused, calm under pressure, your energy makes that decision clear before you even say a word. In a world that thrives on emotional chaos, attention-seeking, and constant reaction, the person who moves with silence, focus, and self-control becomes untouchable. Acting as if nothing bothers you isn't about pretending. It's about mastery. Mastery over your mind, your emotions, your energy, and your time. The unbothered mindset puts you in a league of your own, where drama dies in your silence, weakness can't reach your level, and your presence alone demands respect. You don't chase validation, you don't flinch at provocation, and you don't break under pressure. You choose what matters and you ignore what doesn't. That's what makes you different. That's what makes you powerful. In a world full of noise, the calm one always leads. Stay quiet, stay focused, stay dangerous. If you don't believe you're the man, you're already finished. Someone out there woke up today ready to take everything you ever wanted. And while you hesitate, he executes. This world doesn't wait for maybe. It bows to certainty. You want the truth? You don't believe in yourself because you've never actually been tested. You've never been forced to stand alone with your back against the wall and your future hanging in the balance. You've been sheltered. You've been pacified. You've been told to be soft, humble, gentle, and look where that got you. Look at your life. Be honest. You walk through this world hoping it doesn't hurt you, begging for comfort, chasing approval. You rest the way others expect. You speak like you're scared to offend. You shrink yourself because someone told you confidence was arrogance, and now you're surprised when life doesn't reward you. The world isn't punishing you. It's just showing you who you really are. Every man who's ever done anything extraordinary had one thing in common. They believed in themselves before the world did. Not when the money came, not when the recognition came. Before it all, when there was no applause, when there were no guarantees, when everyone doubted them, they stood tall, alone, convinced of one thing: I am the man, I will find a way or make one. That's the level of belief it takes to build an empire. And don't get it twisted, self-belief isn't delusion. It's not pretending you're great. It's deciding that you will become great no matter what stands in the way. The moment you start acting like a man who's destined to win, everything around you begins to shift. People feel it. Rooms change when you walk in. Opportunities start appearing. But none of that happens until you make that internal shift. You think confidence comes from achievement? Wrong. Achievement comes from confidence. You build the life you want when you stop seeking validation and start moving like your name belongs in rooms you never even entered. The world doesn't reward the capable, it rewards the certain. You don't need to be the smartest, the strongest, or the most talented. You just need to believe so deeply in your mission that nothing and no one can convince you otherwise. That's when you become dangerous. That's when you stop flinching. That's when you stop begging for opportunities and start creating them. You think people respect talent? No. They respect certainty. Because certainty is rare. Certainty is power. And the only way to develop it is to stop doubting and start deciding. People ask me all the time, Tate, how do I build confidence? And I tell them the truth they don't want to hear. You build confidence by doing hard shit. You build it by waking up when you don't want to. You build it by showing up when you're tired, broken, alone, and still giving your all. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's forged in the fire of consistent action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you stack a brick of belief. Every time you push when it's easier to quit, you send a message to your mind that you're a man who follows through. And over time, those bricks become a fortress. That's how you become unshakable. That's how you silence the doubt. You earn it. But here's the part no one tells you. You're allowed to believe in yourself, even when you're not there yet. You're allowed to walk like a king before the crown ever touches your head, because belief precedes reality. Every empire starts in the mind of a man who refuses to think small. First thing you have to believe is you're the fucking man. You can achieve anything. And if you're not willing to say that to yourself, if you're too scared to believe it, then who the hell will? Your confidence has to come from the vision you see in your head, not the situation you're stuck in right now. You build from the future backwards. You decide who you're going to be, and then you live every damn day like that man already exists. You're not weak because you've failed. You're weak because